Welcome to Sports Talk with King Vaughn. Today is Sunday. So yesterday, let's talk about the games. Ole Miss played LSU, where Ole Miss won from a come from behind victory. I don't know what's wrong with this LSU team this year. It's every single time we play any team that has a somewhat good team, we lose. LSU was supposed to be a national title contender this year, and they're falling to every single team that has a somewhat of a pulse. And they barely beat Arkansas. Texas and Kansas played yesterday. Texas won, which wasn't surprising, but it was a ranked game, so you never knew. Notre Dame and Duke came down to the wire, where Duke was up 13 points, and Notre Dame came in with a 30-yard rushing touchdown at the end of the game to win the game. Notre Dame's playoff hopes are still alive. Duke's not so much. After that Riley Leonard's injury, we don't know what's going to happen to their team for the rest of the year. USC Colorado, USC won. Thankfully, now everyone can get off of Colorado and thinking Coach Prime is best ever. He's not. He's not a good coach. He's getting run over by these teams. And Colorado was not ready this year, just like I said at the beginning of the year. Maybe give it 2 years, maybe Colorado will be ready to compete. But right now, is not it. Then you had Florida and Kentucky, where Kentucky pulled off the upset versus the ranked Florida team. Kentucky's run defense was just too much for the Florida Gators, and they showed. And Florida secondary did not look as good as it normally does. Baseball last night, the Astros beat the D-backs 1-0 to clinch their spot in the playoffs. The D-backs clinched their spot into a wild card game last night because the Cincinnati Reds lost. And the Astros clinched their playoff berth because the Mariners lost to the Rangers 8-1. Okay, that's enough about everything else. Today is Sunday. Let's talk about some NFL football. You have the Vikings versus the Panthers, where I think the Panthers are going to win. It's going to be a revenge story for Adam Thielen, getting cut by his hometown team, and not him and Andy Dalton are going to go into Minnesota, and they're going to pull off the upset. Rams versus Colts, I think the Rams are going to win. Even though the AR-12 is coming back this week, I just feel more confident about the Rams offense as a general than I do the Colts with AR-12. Saints versus Bucks. I think the Bucks are going to win because Derek Carr is not playing, and I don't know how much I still trust Jameis Winston after I saw what he did last week. The Commies versus the Eagles. I believe the Eagles are going to win because the Commies rely so much on their offense for running the ball, and the Eagles have not given up 50 or more rushing yards to any running back that they played this season. The Raiders versus the Chargers. I think this is where the Chargers get back to 2-2 after beating the Raiders, because even though that I don't believe in the Chargers this year or the Chargers coaching, I believe in their coaching more than I do Josh McDaniels. He's still trying to find a lawyer for the Aaron Hernandez case. Patriots versus Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are going to bounce back. Their defense couldn't stop the Cardinals, but that's because the surprise factor of the Cardinals offense. The Patriots offense has been ran the same since Brady. So I think the Cowboys, even without Trayvon Diggs, will put together a win versus the Patriots. The Cardinals versus the 49ers. I think the 49ers are going to win. The Cardinals had a flash of good. So I can say that I don't believe they'll be the worst team in the league this year. But I just don't see them beating back to back top defenses in back to back weeks. Just not happening. Then you have the Chiefs and the Jets, where I believe the Chiefs are going to win because they're playing Zach Wilson. And that's all I have to say. Zach Wilson sucks. Until the Jets get another quarterback, I don't see them winning games. Then we have the Broncos and the Bears, a game of the toilet bowl. I believe the Broncos are going to win just because the Bears' offense is utterly horrendous. And Broncos' defense has at least packed Shatan on it. The Ravens versus the Browns. I think the Browns are going to upset the Ravens today. Their defense has looked so good in these last couple weeks versus teams. Even though the Titans isn't a good comparison because every defense looks good against them. But they looked good against the Steelers and the Bengals. I think they'll do the same against the Ravens and shut down Lamar Jackson's offensive attack. The Steelers versus the Texans. I believe the Steelers will win. 4 of the 5 of the Texans' starting offensive line is hurt today. So that means TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith is going to have a day out there on the pass rush. I think they may put up 2.5 sacks apiece, maybe 3. We have the Dolphins versus the Bills, where I think the Dolphins are going to win because they're playing in Miami today. And that offense has looked really good. And the Bills have looked a little suspect on defense at times, even though last week they shut out the Commanders. This is one of the games that I see that could flip back and forth. You have the best game of the week, the Bengals versus the Titans, where the Titans are going to shock the Bengals. Joe Burrow is going to go back to week 1 form. T. Higgins isn't going to catch nothing. Ryan Tannehill is going to actually learn how to throw the ball again. Derrick Henry is going to run over everyone. And our defense is going to look like a top 5 defense in the league. And finally, this morning at 8:30, we have the Falcons versus the Jags, where I think the Jags are going to win because they're playing in London, their hometown turf. The Falcons, I like them. I like Arthur Smith. I like how they're running their offense. It's just not a good way to run an offense when you're playing a very pass-heavy attack. Thank you for watching Sports Talk with King Von.